Hey everyone, welcome back to the Slack videos. I encourage you to go check out the first one if you haven't. This is the second video, and I just want to show a couple other features of Slack that I really like, including arguably my favorite feature, the ability to attach files. So this is really why I prefer Slack over other messaging services, is because you can send files back and forth. So let's say you're in a lab or you're in a class and somebody's doing all your recording measurements on a spreadsheet. You should be using Microsoft Excel over Google Drive and Google's Sheets, and I'll talk about more in later videos about that, but you really should be using Microsoft. And so you can go over to attach files and you can click from your computer. And actually see I attached one here. I had a failed video before this, but we'll go back to the, you can see you can look through all the different files. It works with Word, PDF, images, Excel sheets. So you can go over here and select what you need. And then you can even add a message to go with it. So let's say here's the data for the project or whatever your message is, and then send it. And you see there it pops up in Excel, or it gives a preview. And so it might take a minute to load because it's a pretty big Excel sheet. You can see, it's pretty rudimentary showing, but that's basically what's in there. And let's say I want to download it and work with it. I can hit the download button, and it'll give me the option to save it. So I save it, and then you can open it up and then work with it. So it works out really well. Make sure you're enabling things here. It's really whatever you need to do. So again, attach files is really useful, and I would encourage you to use Slack over another feature. And then the last thing I promised was that I would show you the sidebar over here. So this is where you have a lot of your options. So you can go over to preferences for notifications, and this is where Slack will get you. Slack automatically disables notifications in most setups. So you're going to have to enable notifications, otherwise you have to constantly check. Additionally, you'll have different settings for your phone. You'll have to go on your phone and do the same thing as well. You notify about threads, or you want to set a keyword. So let's say, I'm working on, I don't know, a carbon capture experiment, so then I can put a keyword in for carbon capture. And anytime somebody mentions that project, that'll pop up. Additionally, you can customize your sidebar, so you want to have specific things, sorting, conversations. You really just play around. You can also change the theme, like something darker, or coloring, go crazy. Just a lot more customization things here. You can also send some, advanced input options. Something to note is that the enter key will automatically send a message. You can change it so that you have to press Control Enter to send, because right now as it stands, if I press Enter, space and Enter, it sends that message. Put a word in. Whereas if I want to do a new line, you do Shift Enter, so you can just change that around. Really just functional stuff. The big thing you want to look at is settings in here. So this is if you want, especially if you're in a ASU Slack, try to invite other people, you have to put it in here. So you can join or change how people want to join the workspace. So if you need to set it outside of your organization, or let's say you're working, an international group, you need to change the language, you can do that here. Default channels for people joining, as well as a lot of different display options for people in there. And you can just play around in here. Same thing with permissions and authentication over here. So I would encourage you the first time you do this, kind of just go around and take a poke around. The last thing I'll show you on this is that we talked earlier about you can invite your teammates. So I invited myself earlier, and I just want to show you what that joining process looks like. So let's say somebody sends you a link. You'll go over to your email. I have it up already. And so you see somebody invite you to join Slack. So hit join now. And it's going to bring you over to a sign-in page. And every Slack that you join, you're going to create a unique password. And so you enter in your name. So I'll put Sam2 and a unique password. Just write that in there. That was a weak password. It's a little embarrassing. And so then you're in your Slack. So the important thing is to remember the individual passwords and what email addresses you use, especially if you're alternating between an ASU account and a personal account, because otherwise you might get locked out of Slack. And hopefully you can do a password recovery option, but again, you might not be able to. And so then I'm in the Slack, and you can see all the past messages. So yeah, this could be important if you're inviting new group members in. Let's say there's something you don't want them to see, they're going to see it. Additionally, if they need to get caught up, they can catch up fast. And so you see the past message, and you see you can just message back and forth. And then additionally to signing into Slack, similarly, you can download the desktop app. And I think if you just search, you could get a download. And I definitely encourage you to download that app. There it is for Windows 10. It's also on the Google Play Store, Apple Store. And so just what that looks like. So I'll bring you over to my Slack, and you see I have a couple different channels. And you want to go over to the sidebar here on the left and click the add workspace, and you can either sign in, you can create one, you can try to find one. I think I'm logged into my ASU one here, so you can see different ASU ones, there's a couple different ones floating around. And so it's going to bring you onto the web to sign in. And this is again where you're going to need to know the workspace URL. You can find that really easily just going to the online one. And you can see over here, let's see, where is it? Should be a, I thought that was in the settings. It's going to always be this thing here, but I thought it also gave a, I thought it gave in the settings over here. Oh, well. Oh, it's because I'm not in as a administrator, am I? Let's see. There we go. Settings administrator, workspace settings. And you should be able to find the URL in here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So you can copy and paste that in there, or again, it should be an email, otherwise it's just going to be the name. So I'm going to go over the sign, you enter that in. Let's try it one more time. I think there's an extra. Yeah, there we are. Just need to remove that. It's going to bring you to a redirect page. You can always allow it, so it's going to go through. And there it is down here. You can see a nice little F there for it, and it's going to take a second to load. And there's everything you need. And let's see what I'm signed in as. So I think it signed me in automatically as the ASU one, because that's what I've been signed in last on here. You should also be able to switch accounts in here as well if it's one you don't like. And then lastly, just in customizing it, you might have saw that option you see here. We have like a boring F here, and there'll be loading messages, but you can go over to the administration over here, and you can customize it. So that could be things from changing the loading message in case there's things you want to remind people of. You can change the workspace icon, so you can set it to be something fun, something a little more unique. A lot of different options here. You can change channels over here. And then you can also, I mentioned you can add in custom reactions. And again, I think this is really useful if you want to have custom reactions for each individual person, just to show that certain people saw it. And a lot of different options in here. And then you can also customize your name as well. So you can go up here to your account, and you can edit your profile. I would encourage you to add a picture, both because it helps me remember who you are, and it can also help your group base remember who you are, and it makes it a little more fun. Your full name over here, and then you're going to just display names over here as well. You could put what your job is. Let's say I'm the team reporter, if you want to be able to have your groupmates contact you outside of this, you can put your phone number, 800 cars for kids, or whatever your phone number is, and then change the time zone, things like that. So this is also useful for making sure your groupmates know who you are. I hope you found this guide helpful. I know it's kind of a lot, but again, play around with it. I think it's something that you'll find that will be helpful as you go throughout your different college projects and extracurriculars. It's a really cool program. It's always expanding. Oh, almost forgot. The last thing you do is apps. So there's a lot of different things here. I think there's a simple poll. Yeah, Poly is the one that I've used a lot. So if you need to, like, say you're trying to decide on a meeting time, you can put in a poll. You can add Google Drive integration, so you can have files easily going. Google Calendar. Zoom is really helpful. I did that on my senior design group last year when we were first on Zoom. And you can literally just start a Zoom call from Slack. I'm not going to show you all how to do this, but basically what you're going to do, like each individual app, you're going to have to play around with yourself. Let's say I want to add in a simple poll. You're going to click add, and it's going to bring you over to adding it on here. And you're going to need administrative privilege to do this. You won't be able to do this in any ASU accounts, but in your personal ones, you can do it. And adding every app's the same. It's going to show you different options. So there should be a download button in here somewhere. Maybe it was at the top and I missed it. Yeah, there it is. I missed it. So it'll give you a description, different settings for it. Basically, you just hit add to Slack, and it's going to bring you through an administrative option. It's going to show you all the different things, all the prior permissions it's going to need, and you're just going to click allow because you really don't have an option at this point. And you may have set up, and I'm going to pause it for a second. Enter my information in, you continue over in Slack. And it's going to load again, it's going to bring you back online. And then there we are. You can see there's the app, a nice little welcome message. It'll walk you through how to do it. And so I think, let's see, here's an option here. There we go. So then you can use it wherever. So you just need to know the syntax. I think for this one it was poll. Was this video helpful? And then you put your two options. So there's a prompt, there's responses. Make sure you match up the syntax. It'll get angry if you don't. Let's see if I did. And it did. Perfect. So then you can vote. I'm going to say this video was helpful because I'm a little biased. But the other Sam, he's a real hater, and he didn't like this video at all. So he's going to go over here, and he's going to say no. And you can also see here that as someone just viewing the poll, you see it just shows that the simple poll added, but as somebody who was doing it, you can see you get a message from Slackbot about it and simple poll. And see if you can see the results. Capture decision from poll. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know, yes. And basically just every app's going to have a lot of different things you could do. Let's say you can send it off. I don't want to do any of that right now. Let's see what that looks like from someone just watching. Yep, there you go. Decision, yes. And there should be a way you can see who voted for what. You know, if you play around with it, there's going to be ways you can make it anonymous. You can do this, you can do that. Don't worry about it too much right now. But again, you can do things like that with Slack, Google Calendar, Google Drive. I would recommend downloading the following if you're going to use a Slack for a group project. I would definitely recommend Simple Poll or Poly. There's a couple different ones. You can also do Drive, Calendar, and Zoom. Should be a pretty good starting pack, and you can play around with the rest of it. Again, hope this video was helpful. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit that share button, whatever you want to do. And I hope you found this helpful. Again, let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and enjoy the rest of your day.